The title of the album, Chumbawamba, What You See Is What You Get, comes from computers. It refers normally to what you see on screen. When you're talking about Chumbawamba, does it refer to what we see on the stage or what we hear on the record?
I suppose it's kind of meant ironically to do with what you hear on the record, in the sense of there's always a sort of a difference between the sound of Chumbawamba, which can be very sweet and poppy and full of harmonies, and then the actual texts themselves, which can be quite hard. So it's kind of what you hear, what you see isn't what you get.
Also ich habe gefragt, die Platte heißt What You See Is What You Get, also auf Deutsch würde man in etwa sagen, was man sieht ist, was man bekommt. Und das bezieht sich auf ihren Live-Auftritten oder auf der Platte. Und Jude hat erzählt, es ist eher so, was man sieht, ist nicht unbedingt das, was man bekommt, weil die Musik von Chumbawamba ist manchmal eher süß, aber was sie zu vermitteln haben, den Inhalt, das ist ein bisschen anders. And that's exactly what I wanted to talk with you about, actually. You know, looking at the sleeve notes. I read the sleeve notes like 2 or 3 times. Wir können es vielleicht kurz zeigen. Die Texte selbst sind oft sehr kurz, aber da gibt es eine Art Erklärung dazu, sehr lang. Und ich fand diese Erklärungen sehr interessant. Is it difficult, particularly when you become successful, to maintain that element of being subversive in a way? Is it not a situation, it's a sort of catch-22 situation, you know? There's often been people that have sung one thing and it's been understood totally differently. Is that why, you know, you explain so much on the record?
No, it's like we feel that that we're in this age where you know, music, rock and roll, everything is like dumbing down to such an extent that it's surprising when bands make an effort to communicate something more than just the 3 minutes of a song, or the guitar solo, or the fantastic drum beat or whatever. And we think that's stupid, because for us rock and roll is about context. It's about who's singing it, why, what are they singing about, what do they look like, what's the attitude, how do they live, you know, what are they trying to say about the world. And so that's why we think we've got to put all these notes in here so that people realise that we think that rock and roll is about something huge, massive. It's not just about here's a song, that's the end of it. Because for us, that's the end result of that attitude is boy bands, is manufactured bands. And we don't, you know, we see everything tunneling towards that, and we're trying to stop that happening.
Also Boff hat gerade erzählt, dass Rockmusik im Grunde immer dummer wird und sie kämpfen dagegen. Deswegen gibt es auf der Platte so viele Hinweise auf andere interessante Sachen. Es geht nicht nur darum zu sagen, was sie für Musik spielen, sondern was sie sonst für Interessen haben und dass man eigentlich viel größere, breite Interessen hat, als nur Musik zu machen. Und er hat zum Schluss gesagt, ansonsten wird alles enger. Es gibt am Ende diesen Tunnel, wenn man so will, Boybands, also Gruppen, die einfach produziert werden, um konsumiert zu werden. There's always this sort of double edge to this, though, between like consumerism, objecting to it, but at the same time being a part of it. You know?
Yeah, one of the many contradictions that we live through and try to find ways through in Chumbawamba. You know, of course, we don't. You know, it's not like we're kind of putting ourselves as outside of that, but being part of it doesn't mean you can't be critical of it either. You know,
it's a love-hate relationship as well. You know, we love pop culture and popular culture, and at the same time we think it's vital that we criticise it, because society has to have people criticising that, otherwise it will just become stagnant. It won't be popular culture anymore, it will just be dead, you know, culture that doesn't go anywhere.
Sie haben gesagt, dass Ihre Beziehung zur Popkultur ist eine Hass-Liebe-Beziehung. Sie lieben Popkultur, aber Sie sind der Meinung, man muss diese Kultur auch kritisieren, man muss sich damit auseinandersetzen, weil sonst wird alles nur banaler. To what extent then? I mean, is the music in itself the thing that you look at most? Or is it that the ideas themselves are there first of all and you think about ways of getting those ideas across the music? Or is there a real split between the two?
It's very hard to separate them, I think, and it's not really one over the other. It's not like we have these ideas and, you know, we kind of think of music that will most effectively get them across necessarily. You know, the two things are kind of really intermingled for us. You know, we're in a pop band because we love, you know, making pop music and playing and all those kind of things. You know, but we have things we want to say as well. But for us, it's kind of, we don't really separate them, or we don't give one more importance than the other.
Also Jude hat gerade erzählt, es gibt im Grunde keine Trennung zwischen Inhalt und Musik. Das, was sie vermitteln wollen, die Ideen, die sie haben und das, was sie musikalisch darzubieten haben. Sie lieben Popmusik, deswegen machen sie auch Popmusik, aber sie meinen, sie haben auch etwas mehr zu sagen und versuchen das auch durch die Musik zu machen. The interesting thing, I think, too, is that Chumbawamba achieves that aim without necessarily becoming angry on record. There are a lot of bands performing tonight, and I've talked with them about this, you know, the fact that anger is very much a part of their music. I find Chumbawamba interesting for that very reason. It's more subversive because it kind of creeps up on you without you being aware of it. You're not hit over the head by it, but maybe it sort of creeps in the back door, you know? Is that kind of the intention?
Yeah. It's like there's
I mean, it is angry, but it's just, it doesn't have to sound angry to be angry, you know.
there's a couple of quotes about this sort of thing, which is, one is sometimes a whisper is more powerful than a scream, which it is, you know. It's like you have different ways of talking to different people, and I think that people tend to think that anger can only be expressed in one way, and I think that that's not right. I think anger can be expressed in a very calm, rational way, and sometimes that's by far the best way. And also I think that sometimes it's best to talk very quietly and nicely, but you know you've got a big stick behind your back. I think that's important, rather than just coming out with the big stick and everybody knows.
Wir haben eben noch mal ein bisschen über Wut gesprochen, weil Chumbawamba ist eher leiser, also ihre Töne sind viel leiser und Boff hat gerade gesagt, es ist manchmal viel besser, wenn man flüstert, als wenn man laut schreit. Und um Wut zu haben, muss man nicht Wut zeigen. Es ist manchmal viel besser, viel kraftvoller, wenn man diese Wut hat, aber es anderes rauslässt. Das heißt, es wird dadurch irgendwie subversiver. I hope that the band can continue in that way. I mean, this discrepancy has always made the band interesting to me, and thanks very much for being here.
The next album's going to be really angry and loud.
I'll wait and see if that really happens. Okay, thank you both of you. Thanks very much.